Hey there, Janae with Peony Projects here, and in this week's project I am going to be making paper flowers just to kind of give you guys an idea on what to give that special gardener in your life. So I chose to do basically 3 different types of flowers for this bouquet. 4, scratch that, 4 different types. All relatively easy, and I would say all pretty much use basically the same techniques, but here they are. Here are the 4 different types of flowers that I am trying to mimic. Here they are. So what I did was I picked up basically a packet of multicolored paper. I have a packet of pinks here, so you can see there's 4 different colors of pinks in there. I picked up a packet of greens. I only used 2 different colors of greens out of that packet, but I wanted a little bit of difference in color for the stems. And then I had some yellow laying around because the Calla Lilies did require a little bit of yellow, but you know, that's basically all that I did. I think the packets of paper were $5 on sale at Michael's. They, you know, randomly come on sale every now and then. And I just kind of pick up what I think I'll need throughout the year when they're on sale. So I already had those on hand. I had the yellow on hand. I had the paper on hand. And then, you know, what I'm using, what else I'm using is Elmer's glue and Scotch tape. A pair of scissors, and some items to help me roll the paper, because sometimes rolling this paper isn't the easiest. So yeah, 4 different types of flowers that I'm going to be making with you today. I did kind of play around with size and type of flowers as well. So as you can see here, I used a couple of the different techniques, but I did smaller flowers, and then I, you know, combined 2 of the techniques for this flower. So do as you wish, and kind of, you know, make it unique to you. Change it up a little and have a little bit of fun with it. I know that I had a lot of fun making the flowers that I have here. I'm going to show you how I made them, so I'm going to be making some additional ones with the techniques that I used. But just have a little fun and play around with the different colors, the different techniques, and you know, show me what you guys come up with. I think this is honestly a great alternative to real flowers. That gardener in your life will be able to cherish this for years to come. So let's get into it. The first flower that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be working on a hyacinth, or a hyacinth type flower. Basically all I did was I cut strips out, just like this, or like these. I cut strips, and then I did, you know, about an inch, maybe a little less, strips here, and I just went all the way down, okay? So it's, you know, it's just stripped. I didn't cut all the way through the piece of paper so that there's a little bit of a border here. But let me show you how I did one. So we'll do this light pink. So I wasn't super exact about it as well. I just kind of eyeballed it and just went down. Kind of the length of my scissors, just like that. Okay, so the next step that I did was I actually have a crochet hook here because I found that the crochet hooks work best when I'm making my stems. But I also have 2 pens here, which I found were super easy as well. I'm going to do one of these at a time. There we go. And then all I did was I rolled the paper. Now, I am not a master at origami. This is just purely something that I thought would be kind of fun and easy to do with kids. You know, and it's fairly easy for me to do as well. But again, I am not a professional paper folder. I just thought that I would have some fun making a couple different flowers and then arranging them into a bouquet. So I'm not going to pull these apart either. I want to keep them curled just like that. I could pull them, I'll show you, I could pull them and make them a little fluffier, but I don't want them to be fluffy. I want them to be nice and tightly curled. So the only reason why I'm doing a pen is because it makes it a little bit easier, and I can do a couple more at a time, so I can do 3 instead of 1. And it makes it go a little bit faster for me. You can, you know, figure out what works best for you. If you don't want to use a pen, if you want to use a crochet hook, if you want to use something different. Yeah, so let me get the, again, you have to do one at a time with this type of flower. So let me get the rest of these rolled. Now that I got my flower petals rolled, let's make a stem. I am trying to conserve as much paper as possible, so I cut off, I could use the full piece of paper if I wanted to. And this is kind of, I've done this a couple different ways. So I have taken 2 pens and just rolled them like this. Okay, dropped the pens out, and then I have, if it works, just kind of twisted like this, just to tighten it down and make the stem a little smaller. And then for ease, I've just been taping this corner here, and that holds it all together. See? So there's my stem. I am going to start at the top here, and I'm going to tape this. You could glue as well. Tape is just, it worked better for me, and you know, just going through it a little bit faster, it just helped a little bit more. So I'm going to make sure these are nice and tight to start my top. And then I'm just gonna wrap this around. And as I wrap, I'm going to lower it as well. So I'm just gonna go down the stem just like this. And then for this, I did try and tighten it as well, but this one isn't tightening, so that's okay. And this is why I said you wanted to kind of try and keep it as tight as possible, else your petals tend to get, you know, you don't get as much out of the petals. So that's why on these ones I did say to try and keep them tight. It's pretty easy to roll them back in on themselves, so it's not, I mean, I wouldn't take the time to untighten them, but if they do come undone like a couple of mine did, you know, it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to tape the end as well right there, and so that's the start of the top of my hyacinth. So let me get to this one. And I'm gonna try and offset it. So see all of my, I don't want all of my petals to line up. I kind of want them to be a little bit more jagged. So I'm gonna start here. Ooh, there we go. Here to try and offset some petals a little bit and make it a little more natural. So let's put these right there and tape that down. Do another piece of tape here. Make sure that's secured. And then I'm going to roll it again. Just like that. Okay, so for the next flower, I'm gonna do a Calla Lily. I just took a piece of paper and cut it into fourths. And then you're gonna take one corner and fold it to the other corner. Just like this. I did try and make a point at the end for the stem. So that's kind of, you know, how that looks at the end. Again, not super precise. And then this top part right here, I'm going to just cut and round, just so that it looks a little more like a Calla Lily. Just like that. Take a piece of tape, roll the piece of tape so that it's sticky on both sides, and then roll it back down to where you want it. Something that I did notice about Calla Lilies, if I did want it to look a little more real, I tried to get this point here to line up with my top. And then I did kind of do a little bit more shaping in case I didn't quite get it right. I did a little more shaping at the end to make the petal look a little more Calla Lily-esque. So, oh, and it fell off. There we go. I did have to use glue a little bit more on, and that's why I have the glue out. I did have to use the glue on the Calla Lilies a little bit more just to make sure that they stayed. So I am going to put a dollop of glue right there. If I can get my glue out. Here we go. Just right in that seam, and then in this seam up here. And then I do have a pair of tweezers, and what I did was I just kind of locked my tweezers in just to make sure that it stayed and have it hold on to it for a couple seconds. So let me do a couple different colors of Calla Lilies. What do I have for colors? Looks like I have one of each. So let's do one more of each. So again, square, corner to corner, and I'm just gonna roll it just like that. That turned out pretty nicely. I kind of like it, but I want kind of more of a point at the end for my stem. Just like that. So then I am going to round that off. Take it off a little bit more. There we go. It's like a little petite Calla Lily. Roll my tape. Stick it there. There we go. See? And then let's, I don't know. That's not too bad. We'll leave it like that. And this one actually stayed fairly well, so I don't think we need any glue on that one. And then the last one. Square, corner, corner, roll the two corners together. Make the bottom a point. Let's cut this one because I do want a thicker Calla Lily on this one. So I'm going to cut that inside one. Just like that. And then roll, stick it, and voila, Calla Lily. Perfect. So I did mention on the Calla Lilies that they did have a little bit of yellow on them. So what I did for that was I took a piece of yellow, cut, however, if you can see down in there, you can see it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. You can make that go all the way to the bottom if you want. I didn't. I just cut something like this into 3, took my crochet hook, kind of like I do my stems, and rolled it, and then I just kind of squeezed it and kept rolling and made it tighter, just like that. And then this I did glue because it is a little bit smaller. So let me take that and put that there. See? So I'm gonna do that on these guys as well. Just roll it with my crochet hook. The crochet hook's a little bit smaller, or I did do a smaller gauged one so that it was a little bit smaller. And it just helps me to get that roll a little bit tighter. See if I can get, there we go. Get both of those on there. And then last one. I guarantee that gardener in your life will just absolutely love that you, you went a little bit extra and instead of buying them flowers, made some beautiful paper flowers for them. I'm sure they will love it. So, okay, we're gonna set those there to dry. See if these guys need any. Let's just throw a little bit of glue in here just in case. You can use hot glue too. Hot glue goes a little bit faster than Elmer's if you want. I didn't really feel like getting some hot glue out, so this is what I have. I do already have 2 stems made. I just need another one. So I'm gonna cut this piece of paper in half. Take my pens and roll. Just like that. There we go. There we go. You kind of get into the swing of it the farther you get into it too. At least that's what I've noticed. So these ones, so on the other one I cut the top off. These ones I did leave the top on because I can, let me take this one. I can take it and kind of put it down in and it becomes part of the stem. So that's kind of why I did it that way. I'm debating on putting leaves on these ones. We'll see how the vase looks all together, but I want to set these down and let them dry a little bit before we start to move on for the Calla Lily. So we'll come back to that. We'll go on to another flower though. So let's let's go on to this flower. Again, I took basically just a half in the long way. You can make it however big you want. Just fold this like a hot dog, not the hamburger way. You want to fold it like a hot dog. Take your scissors, and you don't want to cut all the way to the end, but take them and cut along the folded side. You can go as thick or as thin as you want. I want to do pretty thin, but not too thin, so and then cut all the way down the hot dog side of the fold. Okay. Ooh, that one went a little tight, but that's okay. Again, you can make this as wide as you want or as skinny as you want. So this is gonna be a pretty small flower. The wider you go for the hot dog way, so if I was to have this be wider, the bigger the petals are gonna be. So this one is gonna be more the size of this flower rather than this big flower. So let me finish cutting here. Okay, I need a stem. Let me take my pens. Roll another stem out. Tighten it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Tape it. Take the pens out. Oop. There we go. Okay, for this one, so it's folded. I'm gonna unfold it. Okay, it's unfolded, and then fold it back in on itself so that it's a little fluffy and more 3D. And then for this one, let's start at the top here. Kind of the same as I did for the hyacinth. Here we go. We're just gonna roll, and I put this one down just because of these are a little less easy to work with, I guess you can say. And then instead of going down the stem, I'm just gonna fold it in on itself. Okay, see that? And then I am going to tape this down. We'll cover it up later so it's not that big of a deal. And then just fluff. So that's how I make a smaller one, and then you can see there's a little bit of green there. That's okay, that looks kind of cool. If you don't want green there, just start, see how I'm kind of pulling it, but just start the your flower up a little higher. So let's try a little bit bigger of one. So let me pull out a piece of paper here. Full piece of paper, I'm gonna fold it in half. Okay, cut down the hot dog side. Okay, we're gonna make the stem. Unfold it, fold it back in on itself. Now I have seen some people offset it, so let's try an offsetted one today. And I'm gonna tape, so I offset it just a little bit, and I'm gonna tape each corner down so that each corner stays down. Okay, and then fold it in on itself. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to tape the and down. Again, you won't see the tape after I'm done with it, but that doesn't look like much until we start to fluff a little bit. And then it, it starts to fluff out and starts to look like a flower. So this one, I did really fine cuts with, and that's why it's a little, I think it's a little more full. This one I did kind of medium size cuts with. This one the other one I've also played with a little bit, and I've kind of, you know, I lengthened and, you know, separated the petals a little bit more on it. So that's kind of, you know, what you need to do for this one is get your fingers in there and separate the petals and just kind of fluff it out a little bit. But still, I think it's very pretty. So on this one also, I did kind of a frill for the leaves. Okay. And then I did roll the leaves out just to make it look like, you know, they were laying out. So not super, super technical with this one. I didn't want it to be super tight. So you can use your pen, you can use your finger. And then I just took it around the base. Let me get a piece of tape here. So here we go. Took it, taped it right here to the flower and to the stem, and then I just wrapped it. Ooh, we ripped it. That's not good. I have to start that over. There we go. Tape it to the base and the flower, just to kind of secure that flower a little bit more. Those didn't get rounded. There we go. And then I just wrapped it around the base. Take a piece of tape, roll it, and put it right on the start, and then tighten it. Oh, we still want it to be around it though. There, see? And it kind of covers up the base of your flower as well. So, for these ones, what I did is I tipped them upside down and then just kind of put some glue in there so that everything just kind of stayed put as well. Okay, so for the next type of flower, we're gonna do like a peony-esque type flower. So again, cut a piece of paper in half the long way. So this is just a piece of brown paper, but cut it in half this way, and then make slits in. Don't cut all the way to the edge, but just make skinny slits. So I'll show you that next. Once you have that done, take your pen or your crochet hook, whatever you want, and then lightly bend. Yeah, there we go. Lightly roll. There we go. So I'm rolling all in the same direction for the slit side or the cut side. And I'm not doing as tight of a roll as I did on the Hyacinth. I just basically want to get a little bit of motion in on these. Just like that. And I could sit here and play with this all day. Actually, I've been messing with this one quite a bit and just kind of playing with it. I do find that the more you play with it, you know, the softer the paper gets and the more lifelike the flower is. So I highly recommend playing with it or playing with the paper. It just makes it a little more pliable and a little more free-flowing. So that's why I'm always, when I'm showing you guys, I'm still playing with them and still working the petals, because just the more you play with it, I just think the prettier it gets. So I rolled up. I'm gonna put the roll down. So I just flipped it. So it's rolling up and out. I'm gonna flip it, and then I'm gonna roll the non-cut side the opposite direction. And this again is where the two pens come in. I did rip one of these actually, so it does help to have two pens. I already have my stem made. I'm gonna flip it back over so that the non-cut side, see how it's rolled up? I'm gonna put that down, grab a piece of tape, tape it onto my stem, just like this. There we go, and then roll it into itself. Just like that. And this one I'm gonna try and keep a little tighter. Let me roll towards you guys so you can see it a little bit better, hopefully. There we go. Okay, so that's done. Grab another piece of tape, secure that end down. Okay, and see, we kind of have that peony-esque, and if I fluff it, you can make this as wide as you want, or you can put it back together. Kind of whatever you feel like you need for the shape. I am going to fluff it and then push it down just like that. So I'm going to take a piece of green again and cut slits into it, just to cover up the base and kind of give it a little more of a leaf feel. And then I'll roll these. Just like that. Okay. And then put it at the base. I need a piece of tape, so I'm gonna tape it down just like that, and then lightly cover it. And this just again kind of covers the base of the petals to the stem. And then I put a little bit of glue in there too. It's Elmer's, so it will dry clear. It just gives it a little bit more stability. Voila, and there's your peony flowers. So let's move back to the Calla Lilies now. I think that this, it hasn't been too much time, but I think it's been enough time for them to dry. One side is a little thicker. I do put the thicker side. Ooh. No, those dried to each other. Okay, there we go. I do put the thicker side, so here's the thinner side. Here's the thicker side. I put the thicker side down into it. And then I also put the folded part. So this is the corner that I folded in. I put it down so you don't see that as well. So I'm just gonna make a little dribble of glue on each one of these. Just like that. And then again, skinny part up and the folded side down, and just place it in there wherever I feel like it should go on each one of these. Okay, so there's my Calla Lily blooms. And then let me pull a Calla Lily out. So there's one Calla Lily. You can see that I just kind of shoved the bloom down in, and then I glued and taped it. So that's what I'm gonna try and do with these guys. My tips are a little tiny. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. There we go. So I'm just gonna kind of wiggle that down to the best of my ability. Okay. But then let's throw some glue in here. And voila! It is a Calla Lily. Okay, let's do that with this one too. Get some glue in there. It's a nice dollop of glue in there. And then put that Calla Lily bloom down. Kind of force it down a little bit. Voila. And the last one. There we go. So there's 3 Calla Lily blooms that I made with you guys. Yeah, I don't think, let's put a collar on. Yeah, that's it's just big enough maybe. Trying to utilize what I have here and be resourceful. You definitely could be a little bit cleaner and not use tape, or you know, use more glue if you want. I just know working with kids, typically glue is a big mess, which is fine. I mean, it's okay to be messy. I'm all about it sometimes. But I do honestly think that you're not probably going to notice it in this bouquet if you do make a bouquet. Again, if you're doing like single flowers, you might need to make more leaves and a little bit better connections. I just think this is going to be so full of texture and color that you're really not going to notice it. So here are, let me pull out all of the flowers that I made with you in this short time. So in about, I don't know, half hour-ish, we have made 2, 5, 6, 8 flowers, and I had already made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flowers. So definitely it took me a little bit more time. I was being a little more careful with my first ones than I did with these ones. You kind of got the idea of these ones though, so you can take as much time, fuss with them, make them as realistic as you want. You could even you know, color the inside of the flowers or the petals before you cut, so that you can get kind of like that ombre look. You know, especially with peonies. Peonies typically have that ombre look. You know, and just have fun with it. I thought this would be kind of a fun thing to do and a nice keepsake for that gardener in your life. So let me show you how I'm going to arrange these though. I have a vase. I just kind of threw a piece of paper in here, again, to kind of cover my stems because they're not great. I made them more functional than practical or beautiful, I guess. And you know, you can put whatever color of paper you want in here. So I could have done pink, I could have done blue. I just thought it was a kind of a good filler for a vase, or you could do a colored vase. I have colored vases as well. Voss. And so that's kind of why I threw a piece of paper in here. And then I will take, you know, my flowers. You can cut them down, so I'll cut this one a little bit. My stem is a little bit big for that. And then just kind of organize them and make a beautiful little bouquet. I want that hyacinth to be my focal point because it is beautiful. That glue's not dry. Get some calla lilies in here. There we go. Let's cut this calla lily down a little bit more. That's all that I'm gonna get in. Isn't that just beautiful though? I mean, look at all of those different colors and textures. I just think it's gorgeous, guys. I had a lot of fun making it, and I still have 2 calla lilies left over. So you know, I could throw them in here. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? And your gardener friend, you know, whether that be your mom, a sister, whoever it is, they're gonna have this forever. I mean, that is just, it's just beautiful to me. I just think that is, I don't know. I think it's gorgeous. You guys probably are all thinking that I'm crazy right now, but I thought it was, you know, a good alternative to fresh flowers. I'm sure, you know, that special gardener in your life would love fresh flowers as well, but, you know, this is just something different and something unique to show them that you love them, and, you know, it's just a nice little Valentine's Day gift. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you learned something new. If you do, by chance, make a paper flowered bouquet for your loved one, put it in the comments below. I would love to see them. And we'll see you in the next project. Bye, guys.